Bro, what is happening, dude? They should have patched it. Bro, when you see a fucking exploit that big, you patch it, okay? Why are these guys sleeping on the fucking job? TikTok about the prisoner, where the prisoner is hiding. So, this guy escaped.
Here, according to this person, they have said that the police are searching an area of Longwood Gardens, an area of interest. They have all.
Okay, TikTok about where the prisoner is hiding from our favorite Pearl Mania, who's gonna yell at us.
Well, they spotted him in Longwood Gardens. That's great. Longwood fucking Gardens. For those of you who don't know, 6 days ago, all right, on day 90 of me being a non-smoker, on day fucking 90, a 5-foot-tall Brazilian murderer escaped a Pennsylvania prison, like kind of near my house. And they've been on a massive manhunt for him. They've been looking for him in the entire area. A cop spotted him at one point. They keep spotting him on trail cameras, and every time they see him, he has more stuff. So he's been robbing people's homes. He has killed this guy. His name is Danilo Cavalcante, okay? This guy has killed on 2 separate continents. He killed somebody in Brazil, and then he came to America, and he murdered his ex-girlfriend in front of her children.
Seems like he's quite the industrious fellow.
38 times.
Also, finding out that this is also another Michael from Pennsylvania, because he is also from Pennsylvania, has been a shock to me. I will admit, now I am a firm believer that everyone from Pennsylvania just looks like that. Okay, this is Ginger Mike from PA. Straight up.
It's like, this dude is a fucking psycho. He escaped from a prison 6 fucking days ago, and has just been on a fun little excursion in the woods around Longwood Gardens. Last night, they actually spotted him on a trail cam in Longwood Gardens. They haven't caught him.
Oh, man, you're making these TikToks like, meanwhile, it's not like the cops are actually going to do their fucking jobs and catch this dude. He's going to come to your fucking house next, dude. Watch out.
Nope, they haven't caught him. Because our local Keystone cops are doing Keystone cop stuff. I have no idea why. Now, I mean, historically, this has been a difficult area to catch people, which is why it was an underground railroad stop, like before the Civil War. Like, slaves fleeing from the South would come through this area, and it was called the Longwood, okay? And they would hide here, and Quakers would help them and get them to move even more north so they could get away from, like, fugitive slave catchers, okay? He is not being helped by Quakers, though. He's just walking around in the fucking woods. And now he's in Longwood Gardens. He's inside the fucking gardens, where I wanted to fucking go yesterday. I wanted to take my wife to Longwood Gardens. It was our fucking wedding anniversary. I wanted to walk around gardens and look at pretty flowers and then look at her and be like, I fucking love you. And she's like, I fucking love you. But I can't, because there's a 5-foot...
I feel like this is just how people from Pennsylvania operate. Like, I assume that everyone in Pennsylvania is always like this. You know what I mean? Like, he's not even doing a bit. It's just like, he's just mad all the time.
Tall Brazilian man.
It literally tracks with my experience in Philadelphia. I'm just going to be honest. Like, people from Philadelphia especially behave like this all the time.
Who loves to kill, hiding in a fucking garden that over 1 million people visit a year. International tourists from around the world come to look at this fucking garden, and they're worried that this guy, who's so fucking crafty, might climb into a
He's just mad that he can't eat horse manure. You know, I'm assuming the Eagles are gonna fucking play tomorrow or Monday. He's like, you better open the fucking Longwood Gardens so I can engage in my horse manure eating activities.
tour bus and get away into the night. But no, instead he's just walking around fucking the middle of nowhere. He's right here Route 1 somewhere, and now I can't go look at fucking flowers. Y'all better find this guy so I can fucking relax.
This is a PA suburb country. I was just at Longwood Gardens on Sunday. The Hogs are so excited. They haven't had entertainment in a long time. It's been more than a week. Honestly, he should just win. Lol, I made a joke about the cops around the gardens looking like slave catchers. So So this guy did 2 murders, okay? He's 2 for 2. 1 in Brazil and 1 in America. And then how did he escape? Like he like moonwalked out of prison or some shit. Like I heard I've been on vacation. Okay? So I haven't really seen what the fuck's going on. But like what's happening in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania prisons? Like you could just like walk out? Is that what's happening? He crab walked up the wall. He climbed up the wall. Do we have video of this? Because I need to see it. I need to see not the new sightings, but like actually a descriptor of how this guy got out.
New here at 5, surveillance video captures the moment a convicted murderer escapes through the roof of a Pennsylvania prison's exercise yard. There you see Danilo Cavalcante placing his hands and feet on the walls, then shimmy right on up.
There ain't no fucking way, dog. Are you serious? There ain't no fucking way. Same thing happened in Germany a few days ago. You guys want to know something fucking cool and fun? In Germany, it is not illegal, technically, to try and escape prison. The only thing they will add, if you do end up escaping prison in Germany, the only thing they'll add onto your charges is like the clothes that you stole from the prison. Because they believe that yearning for freedom is a human right. So they actually don't add additional charges if you successfully escape prison unless you are wearing the state's clothes on your back. So technically, if you escape prison naked, well, I guess that would be indecent exposure at a certain point. But like if you escape prison naked, it's technically not illegal. He got on the roof and jumped over a barbed wire fence.
CNN reports it's the same way another inmate briefly broke out of the Chester County prison in May. According to the warden, Cavalcante then pushed through razor wire.
Dog, how do they... This is the second time? It's the second time someone has used this trick? Why didn't they fucking do something? Hello? Why didn't they fix it? Bro, what is happening, dude? They should have patched it. Bro, when you see a fucking exploit that big, you patch it, okay? Why are these guys sleeping on the fucking job?
Ran across a roof and scaled a fence to escape. Authorities have been searching for the 34-year-old for a week now. Last spotted Tuesday entering the woods on the east of the side of the growing search area.
Apparently, people are just climbing fucking walls in prisons and shit.
Also moved guests out of the area, and they, at one point tonight, they did tell employees to shelter in place, but they are searching an area of interest in Longwood Gardens. That's just behind me in this area. You can see the law enforcement vehicles here behind me, Anderson. That's what we can tell you tonight. Another sighting, and they are searching an area right around here.
Do you have any sense of how large an area that may be? And you probably don't, because I know this is all happening right now.
Well, it's a large area. What they told us earlier was that the entire perimeter was about an 8 to 10 square mile area. But I can tell you, Anderson, in the last couple of hours, that perimeter has changed many, many times. There have been law enforcement vehicles, dozens upon dozens of them, moving all around us at high speed sometimes with lights flashing, and they have pushed us from one point to another. This perimeter keeps changing. You can see that's one part of it right there. This perimeter keeps changing tonight. My colleague Aaron Cooper observed law enforcement personnel with tactical vests on, camouflage gear, and long guns. That's the first glimpse we've had of those types of personnel. All of this activity coming after a sighting at about noon today, telling us that this fugitive may be moving around in a fairly tight area. Tonight, another reported sighting as the manhunt for convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante enters its second week.
We had a possible sighting of Cavalcante by a person in the vicinity of Longwood Gardens.
This sighting, officials say, was not far from where he was seen on a trail camera Monday night. A law enforcement official tells CNN someone walked up to police and reported seeing Cavalcante around noon today. Police searched the area inside their perimeter of 8 to 10 square miles, asked why they couldn't squeeze in the area to grab him.
It's not just a perfect open piece of land that you can just march through. You've got businesses, residences, highways, hills, valleys, wooded areas that can't be pushed through.
Cavalcante has been on the run since August 31st, the week after he was sentenced to life in prison for murdering his girlfriend. The victim's family in fear for their lives.
They do have protection, and they are terrified. They haven't left their home. They're barricaded inside and very concerned about their safety. We do have police detail around them 24 hours a day, but I know they're very, very worried. This is an outrage. This should have never happened. You know that I was the prosecutor who was assigned to this case, and I helped convict this man, and he was sentenced to life without parole. We're all upset.
This stunning surveillance video shows the escape, the 34-year-old crab walking up the side of a wall in an outdoor exercise area of the prison. Investigators say he pushed through razor wire, ran across a roof, scaled another fence, and got through more razor wire. Now on the run, he's been seen several times in the surrounding area, and police have found his footprints.
Saturday evening, we heard some very strange things in the woods, saw some things on our cameras.
Bro, we're fucked. Like, we're just fucked. Like, it's nuts, dude. With this law enforcement, with this kind of law enforcement, bro, they haven't done a job in like years, okay? They haven't done a single job. I don't mean like any job. I mean literally, I don't mean just like policing. They just don't do work. So good luck.
And we did alert police.
Nina and Charlie Lyman live less than 2 miles from the prison on a 65-acre farm. They believe Cavalcante may have been on their property, which police have searched twice.
We do have several nooks and crannies. We have 3 barns, haylofts, horse trailers. There are 3 houses on the property. So we're taking precautions.
Cavalcante has also been recorded at least twice on surveillance video. The more days that go by without them catching him, does he get more dangerous?
Well, he does. He gets more dangerous because he gets more desperate, and he's probably looking to obtain a weapon. He's going to need to get water and food and more clothes, and he's looking for a vehicle. And all of those things potentially put him in contact with the public, with citizens in their homes, cars, outside.
What did he do? He murdered once in Brazil and once in America. He murdered his like ex-girlfriend in front of his children, apparently.
And that's where the real danger comes in.
We've been pressing law enforcement officials every step of the way on whether Danilo Cavalcante has obtained a weapon or not. The latest word we got a short time ago is so far they do not have any indication that he has obtained a weapon. Now, as for whether he has left any traces of himself behind anywhere like food, clothing, or anything else like that, Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens of the Pennsylvania State Police told me so far they have found no physical traces of this man, but things are very fluid tonight.
Is it fair to say that this has taken too long? Are there certain steps that you're concerned are not being taken?
Brother, let's keep it a $150. Cops are so fucking bad at their jobs in general. Good luck. The people of Pennsylvania are on their own, pretty much. The most overpaid, worse at their jobs group of motherfuckers on the planet.
Well, Jake, I certainly did predict that they would have found him sooner than this, but that doesn't mean that the police are doing a bad job. There's a certain amount of luck that is involved in the equation.
What?
Sometimes things just don't fall your way. I have like the elements of heat that affect the camera. And now we learned, I think, on your network this morning that Cavalcante has some survivalist skills in living amongst the trees and the brush. So there's a bit of an advantage there. What they need to do now is be secure in the fact that they have him within the perimeter based on these sightings and credible sightings at that, because there've been a lot more reported of sightings than these 8 or 10. And they have to start tightening that perimeter and then putting the pressure on, meaning, keep the action up. When he hears the helicopters above, he hears dogs barking. We want to deprive him of sleep, of food, of water, of any kind of comfort. And we want to wear him down to the point that he wants to give up. So we have to keep the pressure on. And we also want to do it quickly, hoping he doesn't get any more resources, such as money, or most likely we don't want him to have a weapon.
Bryce, the escaped killer in Pennsylvania, was able to break out even after more razor wire had been added in the same area where a different inmate had briefly escaped just a few months ago. And in this case, the tower guard failed to see him crab walk the wall. And in D.C., the suspected killer there was able to get away because he was not handcuffed to a hospital gurney because they were swapping out the cuffs. Are these cases of negligence by law enforcement?
Like, we have the most expensive prison industrial complex on the planet. One of the only countries on the planet where prisons are fucking for profit. We have the absolute most expensive paramilitary police force. Okay? That one is like across the board, both in totality and per capita. And like, motherfuckers are still escaping. This is the one area where like the draconian measures that are implemented are supposed to work. This ain't no Norwegian prison, dog, where the doors are unlocked and you can just like walk out. It's America, goddammit. How the fuck? How in the ever-loving fuck is this something you could do? It's like losing out on this situation is like if America went band for band on an obesity competition and like lost to another country. Okay? There's a couple things that we're number one at. Prisons, policing, and obesity. Like if we went band for band with like fucking France and lost in the heart disease competition, I'd be like, what the fuck's going on? Pick up the fucking slack. We're number one, bitch. What are you doing? We got the biggest titties and we got the most heart disease. And you're out here fucking telling me that those goddamn Frenchmen are defeating us? Fuck that shit.
Or is this just what happens every now and then because, you know, criminal's gonna criminal?
Yeah, I don't want to speak on those cases specifically because I'm not involved in, you know, any sort of investigation or research in those areas. But this is what happens. We see this. It's not frequent, but when escapes do occur, it's often because there's either some sort of security lapse, some protocol wasn't followed, something happens that it creates the opportunity for someone to escape. So it's not completely uncommon. I don't want to blame it on any particular individual in either of those agencies, just because I'm not familiar with the details of their investigations yet. But this is not an uncommon thing in general.
Michael, there have been several sightings of Cavalcanti over several days in and around Longwood Gardens. Why might he consider Longwood Gardens a safe place? Does he not believe that law enforcement knows he's been spotted there? Or is there just a lot of cover? Or is it just where he ended up?
It's probably a combination of all three. He ended up there, and as we said, he might be very comfortable within the trees and the brush, thinking he could find cover physically from law enforcement. And there's no indication that he has access to the media. So he doesn't hear on CNN that the police may believe they have him contained within a perimeter. So he may believe now that he's staying safe because he's getting away with it for so long. And the more comfortable he gets, the more likely he is to make a mistake that will lead to his arrest.
Bryce, the authorities have shut down 2 school districts in Pennsylvania. Some of the schools are closed for a third day. We're not seeing the same response in D.C.
America, we got to add a new thing. Mass shooting day is like the new snow day. And now we got criminal escape prison in a fucking laughable way day.
Is it right for schools and school districts to close? I mean, my immediate response, and maybe I'm naive about this, is it's not as though Cavalcanti has a weapon. It's not as though he has superhuman powers. Is there a need to shut down school districts?
Yeah, I mean, you see the response vary across jurisdictions. I don't know if there's no evidence to say one way or the other is best practice per se, but I know that they're taking every precaution necessary. I can say, though, from the research that we've done, that in general, it is rare that people use violence once they've escaped from custody. They're too busy, you know, looking for food, looking for shelter, looking for places to hide, and avoiding recapture to really engage in too much crime outside. Not to say it never happens, but it is a rare event when it does occur.
And Michael, my general reaction when I hear about somebody who is on the run is I don't feel like, I mean, people obviously should lock their doors anyway, but I don't feel particularly vulnerable or think that anybody else should be feel particularly vulnerable. These people want to avoid detection and get the hell out of there in general. These aren't necessarily people looking to take hostages or cause damage, right?
Well, that's true, Jake, but in their desperation, we don't know how they'll react. So I know there was a reporting someone suspected that Cavalcanti had broken in their home and stole food and fled. Well, that's good if he fled. But we might get another situation where he's shoplifting or trying to steal something else, and the person, maybe not knowing who he is going to approach this guy. He's not a very imposing figure. He's going to look like someone he can take down pretty easily. So if he panics like that and he feels he's going to be challenged, he may do something violent. So you're right. He doesn't want to bring attention to himself. But when backed in the corner, we don't know how he's going to react. And given his violent history, we can only suspect that he would be violent in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I just mean people should go on and live their lives, not live in fear.
But be cautious at the same time.
Absolutely. Be cautious. And if you see them, either one of these criminals, avoid and call authorities. Michael.
That's crazy, man. A convict broke his cuffs, stole the transport van, and escaped in Oregon. He made his way up to Portland and got caught after being stuck in the mud for 12 hours. That's awesome. He was entrapped in the mud for 12 hours. Lost to the environment, dude.
From Jacqueline, London, officials say Cavalcante is the second prisoner to escape from Chester County Prison this year.
And police have released new video showing how he was able to break out of jail. And you can see Cavalcante approach a small hallway right there before scaling up the wall. He then goes through the razor wire, across a roof, jumps a fence, and through more razor wire before he finally gets out. This all happened on the morning of August 31st. The warden says the prison was not locked down until an hour after he escaped. Then authorities started their search, I should say. Surveillance cameras in the area captured the criminal. And on Saturday, a residential camera caught him on the 1800 block of Lenape Road in Pocopson Township, just 1.5 miles from the prison. One of the next sightings, same 2 days later, from a trail camera near Longwood Gardens. The video shows him shirtless and carrying a backpack as he moves through a heavily wooded area. And that brings us to today. 7 days into the search, Skyforce 10 is overhead as authorities work to track down Cavalcante. And NBC 10's Deanna Durante is live in Westchester with the latest details. Deanna.
Well, a series of security breaches led to this escape, according to prison officials. As you said, this is the second escape this year, the second one since May. And prison officials say a number of security patterns were in place, but clearly it was not enough. They also say a guard missed the convicted killer.
That's insane, bro. I mean, shut down the fucking prison at that point. You know what I mean? I'm surprised Republicans haven't hit this bit by being like, Pennsylvania's Democrat, brother. They're just letting criminals roam the streets, brother. That type of shit. You know what I mean?
Getting off
those DAs, brother.
The prison grounds. Video released today shows 34-year-old convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante scale a wall. Prison officials say it was quick, too quick for guards monitoring video footage to see. From there, Cavalcante made his way outside the Chester County Prison.
At 8:51 a.m., Cavalcante escapes from the prison, having crab walked up a wall, push his way through razor wire, run across a roof, scale another fence, and push his way through more razor wire.
And past a guard tower, where a guard was monitoring the prison yard where the inmates were.
As we develop information into this, we are certainly going to look at what the actions of that tower officer were, why he didn't observe what was occurring in that yard.
The guard now is on administrative leave. Cavalcante isn't the first escapee this summer. In May, another inmate managed to climb that wall, get to the roof, and get out of the prison yard. He was caught minutes later because the guard in the tower saw him and called for backup. Cavalcante was not discovered missing for an hour after he was already on the run.
I think it's fucked up to expect the prison guards not engage in playing Pokemon Go in the same way that cops do everywhere else. If cops get to play Pokemon Go in New York metro stations, then cops are going to do the same shit in prison too. You know what I mean? It's cop activity. Sorry, I was looking at my fucking phone, dog.
Cavalcante has clearly already obtained some clothing and unknown other supplies, and we want to minimize any opportunity to obtain anything more.
Despite sightings, police say he's managed to stay on the run now for 7 days, eluding police and surviving in extreme heat. The heat is hurting search efforts, police say, as trained dogs are affected by the heat, and some of the equipment isn't useful. But state police say when it comes to those in the area, keep your eyes open and your doors locked.
Residents can expect to continue to see large numbers of law enforcement officers in their communities and traveling to and from assigned locations. We continue to ask for the public's help by familiarizing themselves with the photograph and description of Cavalcante, to check security cameras they have, and to call us immediately if they believe they may have seen Cavalcante.
Now, police at this point are not saying if they believe Cavalcante has gotten any outside help, if they believe any of those inmates assisted in his escape. We did ask, we saw people in the video, if they were possibly trying to distract the guards. They say that's all part of the investigation. They do tell us that in their searches, they have found items along the way in their search perimeter, but yet they can't tell us if those items belong to Cavalcante or not. The main thing here for people in Pennsbury Township, where that search perimeter exists right now, if you see anyone suspicious, call police right away. Reporting live in Westchester, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.